Cool. So we're just going to make sure. It's always a bit tricky. You would know this, to get on
Live.
live. Yeah. No, that's okay. I'm just typing in some stuff. That's what I know. Okay. We're going live. It's always tricky, as I say. Sometimes we're talking like this and we are actually live. So
Yes,
I always have to double check it on my phone. Is that something that happens?
Everyone. Yes, because it says it live up in the top. And so we're most probably streaming live right now. So hi, everyone.
We are indeed, because I just double checked. So welcome everybody to the beautiful Elizabeth Elenor, first and foremost. And this is in our group, and Strong Women Network for this one today. And it's where we go meet the members, and where we talk about some of the tips and insights of how the members have come to where they are and all of that sort of thing. So thank you very much. I'm very excited. We've known each other, gosh, not quite a year yet.
No, August.
Oh, yeah.
We shared a house together. We shared a house together. That's right.
And we clicked for some reason. Yeah. We clicked quite well and have been in contact ever since. So it's amazing the people that you meet when you're out kind of growing and learning and, you know, investing in your own business as well. So, and I'm really fortunate to have met you. So this is all about you, but it's sharing with our members in a way that will inspire and help them and share some of your journey. So the first question would be like, tell the listeners who it is you are right now and how you've got here, just in briefly, and we'll kind of go a little bit deeper into it then. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. To start with, thank you so much, Carmel, because this is such a pleasure talking to you. We do connect personally, and so it's lovely to have this opportunity to be on with your team and your members on this page, and to share some of that insights that you and I share regularly anyway. So thanks so much for the offer. So where am I at now is somewhere I absolutely had no concept of 12 months ago. Right. I had no idea that I would be where I am now. I started off as a remedial massage therapist for 20 years. Discovered that I could learn, I read energy, that energy and vibration were my first language. And through that process, started working spiritually on people and clearing energy and doing past life regressions and all sorts of stuff, just to support people to raise their vibration and to become more and more in tune with themselves. So, I sort of left all that behind and came to Sydney. I was living in Far North Queensland and came to Sydney to look after the family and support my mum and everything. And then a beautiful friend of ours, a mentor, said, why aren't you doing that sort of stuff anymore? And I'm like, well, you know, I took the hat off, you know. And she said, people need you. So next thing, I'd started Women of Light Facebook group. And I've just exploded. It's been amazing.
So that's terrific. And where is it that you are now? When you say you didn't know you'd be here, where is that right now?
Okay, so I'm basically working with women one-on-one, and I'm doing an online program. My first online program that I'm running at the moment, we're into week 5 at the moment of a 12-week online program. I've got 15 women in that group.
Beautiful.
And I work with women one-on-one. I generally do 5 session programs, depending on the woman. But yeah, I'm basically working as a mentor, a spiritual mentor, supporting women to find themselves.
Beautiful. And that's a big kind of open-ended question. How do you find yourself? It's like, well, you're not actually lost.
Yes,
You're there
yes,
somewhere.
exactly. We just think in our mind that we're lost, right? It's getting someone to support us to recognize that we're not.
Cool. And when you say that that's different, so how have you marketed that, for example?
I've been doing a lot of social media. I find that getting on and doing that horrid Facebook Live that everyone freaks out about.
I just did one this morning.
Yeah. It makes such a huge difference. And getting on your personal page and actually just sharing stuff that you think, you don't have any value, you don't have any content, you don't have anything much to say. Some of the Facebook Lives I've done, I've thought that was ridiculous, and they've had 150 views and 20 comments, and so you don't realize what you know until you start sharing it with others that don't.
And that's a great point. And I know some people shirk from social media, and I do social media a good amount as well. But sometimes I kind of forget to do the lives as well. Do you think? How do you structure, or how do you come up with what it is you're going to talk about on a Facebook Live?
That's a great question, because often my inspiration or my thought process often comes when I'm in the shower or driving.
Both places that you can't do a live. Yeah.
That's right. And you can't write it down. Yeah. And so the other time when I can do it is in the morning when I'm walking. And I have been known to jump on at 6 o'clock in the morning and do a Facebook Live, all sweaty, no makeup on, haven't had a shower.
Yeah.
But the information's there, right? And if you don't do it then and there, then it's gone, and you haven't added value to somebody else's life. So I make sure when I'm thinking of something, or someone gives me a question, or someone says something, I'll go, that would be a great Facebook Live. Sometimes it's from a podcast I'm listening to.
Right. So you're sharing in your Facebook Lives, for example, you're sharing your journey in order to help others. Would that be how you'd do it? Yeah.
And in saying that, sometimes it might be just one sentence. Someone gives me one sentence and I can spread it out into more, because I've had that experience. So I share my story and where I came from, where I am now, sort of thing. And add in the details with that.
So you mentioned that you do when you're inspired, and we're not going to just stay on Facebook Lives, but I know it's a big block for so many people. Who did I interview last week? Nicole, the beautiful Nicole, was on, and she actually said to me, this is the third time I've had Facebook Live, and all three have been with you. Because I'm a bugger. If you're in my house, you haven't been in a Facebook Live, well, let's do it now. And I have to phone it straight away. So I know it's a big block for people. So when you say that you do when you get inspired, do you only do it when you get inspired, or do you put a structure and a strategy behind it?
I do a little bit of both. For a while there, I was getting on my personal page every morning at 8:30. And that actually, my assistant has been harassing me to do that again, because that's built so much momentum. People knew that I was on. It was what do you call it, daylight savings. So a lot of my people that I know it was 7:30 up in Queensland, because I'm in Sydney at the moment.
Yeah.
And so I found that people knew that I was coming on, so that really gained a lot of momentum. At the moment, I'm a bit of a go with the flow type person, and so at the moment I'm finding that I just do it when I feel inspired. But I do know that regular routine definitely made a bit of a difference.
Absolutely. And part of that is, I was talking to somebody the other day about what actual mindset is. And we were talking about it's actually habits of mind is what it is, because the brain needs to make shortcuts to do stuff. So it's those habits that become what we traditionally know as mindset.
Yes.
But part of that is when you say that turning up at 8:30 every morning, it means they don't have to think. It's there 8:30 every morning. So there is something to be said by being consistent. Now, it doesn't have to be every day. We know some people that are starting their businesses are already working full time, and it can be twice a week. It can be every Saturday. It can be something. But the consistency, how important has that been to you?
Oh, huge. I actually have just started a free webinar on my Women of Light Facebook group, and it's going to be every Monday morning. And I think that when people know, as you were just saying, like people know when you're going to be on and they see you, they're more likely to, you know, you're not interrupting something for them. So but consistency is massive, as you know. Like people think, oh my gosh, they look at what other people are doing and the success of somebody else's business, and yet it was those one little step, second little step, third little step, and just you know, like it's like the snowball, they say, you know, like it's a snowball effect. And just, I've got a hair in my mouth, sorry. I keep getting one of the things about Facebook Lives is that there's so many times that I've gone to do a Facebook Live and my mind about talking about mindset is telling me not to, you know, all the reasons why you're not doing it. But I keep going with my action, and next thing I've pushed that start button, and then I'm like, oh, I've already done it. I've got to keep going, you know, like just push the button and then deal with the consequences.
Right? So that's really interesting. And for those that are watching, what is it that you believe is that thing that makes you push that button? Because we've all come, look, I did the 10-day, I think a few years ago, I did 30 days straight on Facebook Lives, and then there's other times I go, oh, I don't know what to say. I even do it now sometimes. So what is it that makes you press that button rather than go, no, I'll do it tomorrow? So what insight is that?
It's your why. It's why do you want to create a business? Why do you want to be different to where you are now? What is it that you want that makes you press that button?
And what don't? I'm really sorry for interrupting. I'm kind of thinking, I get that, but in that moment of just going to press that button, we don't always think about all that. That's what I mean.
Oh yeah, totally. So I've got this thing that I've been like, I've been living up in Central Coast, and I do this walk every morning for about an hour and a half, and it's coming up to winter, right? So 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting up and I'm walking, and then I go and jump in a 12-degree pool. Yeah. So the thing that's really interesting is I watch my brain, my thoughts tell me all the reasons why I shouldn't be doing it. And yet what I've noticed is I'm just observing those thoughts instead of taking action from them. So I'm not allowing those thoughts to it's an interesting how to
you're becoming the observer.
I'm becoming the observer.
Very powerful.
So I can be walking down the little ramp towards the pool, hearing all of these thoughts, but I keep walking, open the gate, put my towel down, and I'm getting in that pool as I'm listening to this voice, right? So I'm just listening instead of letting it sink in and then create the action of going the other way or making the excuses of why I shouldn't do it.
So you're creating a habit. Absolutely.
But I also believe that there's things in my body that I know are benefiting from having that swim in the pool. There's things in my business that are helping me and benefiting me pushing that button. So that's got to be there first. You've got to have this really strong why, you know, like for years I've had that, you know, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be doing this. and you think of the shoulds and you never get around to doing it.
Yeah.
I'm 49 this year, and I'm like, I want to get a certain place I want to experience a certain amount of wealth and just see how I go spiritually, having that certain amount of wealth, how many people I can serve, the value I can give to people. And so that's got to be pretty deep inside you first.
Yes.
Before you take those individual steps.
And thank you for sharing your age. And I'm a woman of a certain age too. And quite often, look, in my background, I found that my parents, for example, got to a certain age and they stopped. They became, I'm too old, I can't do, blah, blah, blah. And I really think it's amazing that women of our age, and I'm a bit older than you, a fair bit older than you, but that we're actually still going. And, you know, it's an inspiration to other people to see age isn't a barrier to it. You know, it's not when I reach this, I'm done. It's like a continuing growth of the I don't know if the journey, for want of a better word, that is there. So what is it that, I know you say your why, but on a day-to-day basis, what is it that keeps you motivated?
What is it that keeps me moving?
Motivated to move,
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would actually say, because as you were talking, I was thinking about where I was and where I am now. And I think that having a mentor or coach makes a huge difference to your life.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go there, we could get there by ourselves, but having someone outside of you that's supporting you and keeping you accountable to what your dreams and goals and desires are makes a huge difference. And so I don't know what it is about us women that we are more likely to think and care for somebody else and what they think of us than if it was just us internally. And so just having someone that holds me accountable makes a really, really big difference, because that whole process, I was even thinking as you were talking about age, I was with my daughter yesterday, and I actually said to her, I just realized I'm going to be 49 this year, because I thought I was 48, right?
It's a number.
Yeah, that's right. And she said, oh, wow. And I said, you know what I realized? I've got at least another 30 years to go of this exciting adventure. Like, what am I going to achieve? And it was afterwards that I thought, that is such a huge difference to what I used to think.
Yes.
I used to think, 50. Oh my gosh, 60. Like the mindset has shifted because I've surrounded myself with the 5 people that influence you, surrounded myself with successful people with the same passion and mindset. I've got a coach that's driving me forward. I've got people like you in my life that are on the same journey, like people that are striving, and that makes a huge difference, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And if that was one tip or insight we can give to people, because so many people have, whether it's trainings or it's whatever, just stay in an environment, whatever that is. I don't say to people, come to my course, come to your course, whatever you have to do to stay in an environment of growth. And you're so right. I have a mentor that I still work with. I have coaches. But the biggest thing was that you don't know what you don't know sometimes.
Yeah.
But getting somebody that you trust and know and can support and be there, not just accountability. I think sometimes it's that, but it's also being able to bounce stuff off them.
Yeah.
Because they come from, I've done that 100 times with my mentor. I've got, what about this? I'm thinking to do this. And the old me wanted to be like to do that. And it's been quite amazing. But without that, I'd still be working night shift in a friggin' hospitality venue.
Yeah. And if you told me when I was thinking that I was getting everything I needed from free content, if you told me the steps that would have, like, where I'd be after 12 months of having a coach, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah.
But as you just said, you don't know what you don't know. If you want something for your business, I'd be investing in some sort of business training, some sort of coach, mentor, someone to hold you accountable, and someone that's is someone that's been where you want to be.
Being where you are and has taken the path to where you want to go.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
And what I recommend to people, and I think you possibly be the same, is don't just go with somebody for the sake of it. Actually do your research.
Yeah.
What have they done?
Yes.
People can say everything, and we compare ourselves to sometimes what I call fake book. Sorry, Facebook. And only in terms of people put the good stuff out there quite often, and we're comparing ourselves to hallucination. Oh, I'm not good enough. Why have I not done that? What's wrong with me? Blah, blah, blah. And it's absolute rubbish.
It's a false persona. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell me, what is the hardest decision that you've ever had to make in your business so far?
In my business so far, the hardest decision, sometimes the hardest decisions, the little ones, like creating this webinar, meaning that I've got to have content, be on every week. I've decided it's 8:30 in the morning. That was a hard decision because, what if I fail? What if no one sees the value? What if people don't watch? What if I can't think of content? Oh my gosh, I've got to do a PowerPoint every week. Like all of these things that came up. So that's one of them. I would say the hardest though, like the biggest one would be that investing in right. and jumping that chasm of the unknown. Because it's not only that you're investing in somebody to support you, but you're investing in your future that you've got no idea if it's going to succeed or fail. So like you're investing in the commitment that you're going to make to yourself.
Yeah. And how did you, again, to give tips or insights to somebody who's sitting in that area of indecision? Like what was it that made you cross that bridge, if you like, rather than, and we've all done it. Look, I have a whole pile of shelf development, shall we call it, because that's all it's ever done is sat on my shelf and done bugger all, but the intention was there behind it. Yeah. So what was it for you, or if you were to give somebody a tip, I don't necessarily say advice, whatever, because it's all about perception. But what was it that you could give somebody an insight to that made you cross that bridge and actually trust yourself enough to make that decision to invest in yourself?
So my answer to that might be a little bit different to
That's what okay. It's your answer.
Yeah. So being a spiritual mentor, my whole life is about spirituality and intuition and connecting with the part of me that's not necessarily in my body, like the higher self. And I live my life that way. Everything flows for me. And if it's not flowing, then I know I need to look at the turn I just made, or, the direction I'm going in, and just see the signs. So I had the thought that I would like to expand the business that I was in, which I've still got. I work with high vibrational essential oils, as well as doing spiritual mentoring now. But I was already in essential oils, and I was looking to expand that, and was thinking about, how do you expand? How do I move into leadership, and how do I find an assistant that's going to support me through that process? I'd had some personal changes in my life where I had to move in with my mum to support her in her health, and just the consequences of events that led me to going to this half-day workshop that actually I wasn't even aware it was on. I'd gone to a free Facebook event. I'd gone up to see a friend for her 60th up in Cairns, went to a free Facebook event. And my mentor now walked in at the end of that Facebook event because she was going to use the room the next day. And I recognized her because I used to follow her a few years ago. Got back, now this is a funny one for you, got back into my friend's house, looked on Facebook, and she'd done a selfie with the guy. So Facebook, social media, put a link to her half-day workshop, and I went, oh, it's on tomorrow. I'm not doing anything. I can do that. And I went to it, and there was nothing in my body because I just found myself in a position where I had some extra cash. There was nothing in my body that said, don't do it. Everything just sort of went into alignment. And so that was for me. So if I was going to share with your group, I would say, be aware of what you want and your desires. Know that they're doable. So some people think dreams and desires are phantom and that they're never achievable, right? So be aware that they're achievable. And then because you put it out there, because you know that it's something that you've got in your vibration, watch out for the signs that come into your reality after that. Something's going to happen that you're going to pick up on, and trust yourself when you feel that.
And I guess that's the actual essence, isn't it? Trusting yourself. And it's an ability that I know you have it in such a beautiful way that I think people have been clouded around that, and they don't trust their own decisions sometimes. So would it be fair to say, and we're nearly out of time, but would it be fair to say something like maybe meditation, or is it something like that that actually gets you to start tapping into that innate trust?
A quick and easy tip. Meditation is a good one. Though people tend to think that meditation means stopping, listening to music, guided, Umbaya or whatever, you know, like I actually am a bit more grounded and practical with that. I would say one of the tips that I give people all the time is actually so simple that people don't realize how powerful it is actually when you're feeling anxious or you're feeling like you're not in alignment with yourself, you can feel that something else is going on. Breathe out like this. Because when you're breathing out like that, you're breathing out particles that aren't you, that don't serve you. You're grounding back into your body, so your spirit is in your body where you can access the information and your intuition. And you've got more clarity because you're able to access all that information. You're more likely to be able to hear the true information instead of the doubt and concern and worry and story that you often follow, that people often follow.
And it's such a great, simple but usable tip. It's just breathe, and that's what I find coming into the now, like being totally present, no matter what, as long as get yourself safe, but being totally present is the key.
Well, that's what's really good about that is you can do that in the car, you can do that walking, you can do that anywhere. And so it's about bringing awareness in the moment wherever you are.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Now, we're just about out of time, but if people want to contact you, where can they go, or what can they do to contact you?
So they can message me directly on Elizabeth Elenor, my personal page. I've also got a Facebook group called Women of Light. So if you message me on this here, I can get you in contact with my business page and my group. I'm doing webinars as well in my group. So
social media is the best way to contact you.
I would say social media is the best way. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know we're going off and we have another group to interview into, but for now it's bye from me.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.